My name's Stephen Anderson. I'm an enterprise coach with Forward Trust. And today I'm going to look at funding and look at some approaches you can take to applying and positioning yourself for funding. There is funding available, keep that in mind, but funding always comes with hurdles to get over. And I think one of the most important things to realize is that when you apply for funding, you have a clear plan and a clear idea of how the money will be used, what it will be used for, and the benefits of applying for that funding. It's important that you incorporate your funding approach as well as into an application, but make sure it's in your business plan or proposal. You're applying for this pot of funding for this use, and the outcomes of this funding will be A, B, C. Really make that clear in your application of when you're applying for funding. Another thing to keep in mind with applying for funding is to really make sure you read through the eligibility criteria. In my experience, a lot of people do not fully read through this and they're applying for funding that is not relevant for them, or there's a lot of things that stop them from applying for that particular funding. It's your time, it's your energy. Make sure that when you're applying for things, you know fully that you're eligible to apply for them. So take time out to read that eligibility criteria as full as you can. Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of funding is done geographically. You do have national funding programs, but you do have a lot of regional and local funding. So what's available to someone in Birmingham won't be available to someone in Leeds or Sheffield or London. What's available to someone in a borough in London, say in Wembley, won't be available to someone who lives in Croydon. A lot of funding is done geographically, so make sure you understand and investigate local, regional sources of funding. Investigate your local authority. That's always a good starting point. Investigate local enterprise agencies. Another thing to keep in mind when applying for funding is to really develop that business confidence of making sure that you understand the market in which you're entering. And what I mean by that is fully understanding, and it's reflected in your business plan or your business proposal, that you have a strong grasp of the market and how obtaining this funding will help you impact in the marketplace which you're developing your business in. Keep your research continuous and make sure you're proactive in applying for funding. Being proactive and being systematic. I hope this has given you some food for thoughts. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me.